Don't feel like we have enough macro lenses? Curious to know why Tamron isn't making fast primes? Want to know when Sony's event is taking place? And why Panasonic doesn't have anything planned? But before we get to the details, please subscribe to this channel. It doesn't cost you anything, helps this channel grow, and keeps you up to date on the latest camera coverage. According to Canon rumors, we are told that Canon will introduce a new macro lens in the first half of 2025. And it will have a macro design first. We weren't given any details on what the first will be, but it will be an autofocus lens, so that means no MPE 65mm update. So what about the specs? Well, as far as the specs, Canon rumors unfortunately didn't specify any, but did say that the lens will also cost significantly more than the current RF 100mm f2.8L image stabilized USM macro. And that's this guy right here. It's one of the most affordable macro lenses out there. I've seen it go on sale for $999. So for those of us looking for affordable alternatives, we'd better hope that Sigma announces more RF lenses in time for CP Plus 2025. But in the meantime, the only thing we have as a 100% concrete is that Canon has an event on October the 30th, so join us for our live coverage where we bring you information on the latest details and pricing regarding the Canon RF 24mm f1.4 VCM. It's an L series lens along with the 50mm, same characteristics, 1.4 VCM L series. And of course, will it get the white paint treatment or the black paint treatment? And that's the 70 to 200mm f2.8 power zoom lens. It's also an L series USM motor. Coming up, join us live on October the 30th. But now turning our attention to Nikon. Nikon made news by releasing the NEF codec 131.4 and NRW codec 190, which are now available for download from all your favorite Nikon websites. But now turning our attention to Sony. Andrea Piscini of Sony Alpha Rumors tells us we're going to have a Sony event in November, and it's most likely going to be a successor to the Sony Alpha 1. Although it could be the A7 IV. Andrea says that the camera will be unveiled at the New York Creative Space on November the 20th and 21st. There might also be a lens, but this hasn't been confirmed yet. And of course, the actual date of the announcement of the camera will depend on what time zone the information came from. So at this point, Andrea isn't 100% sure that it's going to happen on November the 20th or the 21st, but I'm willing to bet dollars to donuts it's probably going to be on the first day because that's where you get all the bang for the buck. That's when you want to draw a lot of attention, but we won't know until Andrea posts a follow-up story, so stay tuned for that as it should be coming relatively soon. And this would be the second of 4 big events that I spoke about in yesterday's video. Although I did get a few comments asking what's Panasonic up to. Sadly, we haven't heard anything. And while an update is expected for the S1, the S1R and the S1H, I'm not about to predict anything as we're already 6 years late for a refresh of the S1 and the S1R, and close to 6 years for the S1H. I'm not about to predict anything as we're already 6 years late for a refresh of the S1 and the S1R, and coming up close to a 6-year wait for the S1H. But I know Panasonic is having some serious issues. But with less than 5% market share, and that's declining, Panasonic needs to better communicate to their audience to, at the very least, keep up with the competition. They just released a brand new phase detect autofocus system almost 2 years ago now, and that was with the S5, 2, and 2X. I was really excited by that camera to finally see Panasonic come out with a phase detect autofocus system that I knew would only get better. It was exciting. It completely changed my feelings towards Panasonic. The desire for that S1 refresh, the S1H refresh. But sadly, all we hear is crickets chirping. I do hope that Panasonic does have something planned for us in November, but at this point, it's awfully quiet. I'm not saying it isn't going to happen. I'm just saying it's a little too quiet. Turning our attention to France, Phototrend scored an interview with Sigma published on October the 18th, where they stated that the RFS lenses sold very well, and said that they're only focused on APS-C at the moment, with all 5 RFS lenses to be shipped by January 2025. Well, on October the 21st, Phototrend published another interview, but this time with Tamron, where they indicated that they're not interested in producing fast lenses. At Tamron, the strategy is to differentiate. We offer zoom lenses that do not exist elsewhere. That is our core business. And for those of you interested in trade shows, there's a photo video trade show, the largest in Canada, that's coming up in just over a week. And that's Profusion in Toronto at the Metro Toronto Convention Centre on November the 6th and November the 7th. I'll be there early Wednesday morning to see the latest video and cinema gear. Best of all, it's free. And who doesn't like free? Especially if you're living in Toronto, with some of the world's highest prices for everything. Anyhow, let's focus on what we like and love, cameras. There is one other thing I do want to mention outside of Profusion, which I will be there. I've already booked the day off. I'm going to be down there. I'm going to take the 10 o'clock train in. So I'll be there for 11 o'clock, and I'm really looking forward to that, and might even meet a few of you as well. So if you see me, reach out to me and say hello. But speaking of me for a moment, what day is it? Is it the 27th yet? 26th. So 5 years ago yesterday, I actually started this channel, but I didn't produce my video on until October the 27th. And guess what? You're watching this video on October the 27th. It's been 5 years since I've started this channel, and I started it with a very simple idea. I was watching Camera Conspiracies, and at the time, Casey had a, I don't know if it was a corrugated cardboard screen, but basically he was living in his mother's house, and he was kind of blocked off a certain part of the house where he could do his videos. And I was watching that. I was watching Peter Gregg. I was watching Petapixel. I was watching Fronos, Tony Northrup, Chelsea. I was watching everybody because I was getting ready to buy a new camera to replace this guy here, the 70D. And then when Canon announced the 90D, I kind of thought, okay, no 24 and this and that. I don't know what's going on. And then I thought to myself, as I was watching a Camera Conspiracies video, why can't I do this? How hard can it be? And if you've ever uttered those words, it's like getting hit in the head with a mallet shortly thereafter. You do realize how hard it is. But for a moment, if you've been watching this channel for a long time, what I recommend doing is taking a look at my very first video. It was, you could tell I was serious. I really wanted this to work. My biggest observation is the sheer number of jump cuts. The audio wasn't necessarily the best. The framing, the lighting, it was my very first video. I recommend going back and taking a look. Not so I can get tons of views off an old video. That's not the point. The point is, life can sometimes change on us like 180 degrees. It can be at work. It can be something happening with family. It can be our health. And along the way, opportunities present themselves to us. And if you're anything like me, your first reaction is, yeah, I don't know if I could do that. As I started to move through my 20s, I started to change that thought a little bit and say to myself, okay, you can do anything if you just allow enough time and effort to it. So then the question then became is this something I can do? Do I have enough time? Do I have the ability to do this? And I started that channel because the 70D was getting a little old at that point. It was close to 6 years old, and it wasn't delivering what I wanted. And I thought, well, if I start this channel, it can improve my presentation skills, and that's good. That helps me with my career. It also improves the ability to raise funds to replace my camera every 3 years. And cameras aren't cheap. They weren't then, and they certainly aren't now. And if I could somehow raise $100 to $200 a month, well, every 3 years, that's a sizable chunk to getting whatever camera I wanted. I timed it perfectly. I started October the 27th with my first video, and then in January, the 1DX Mark III came out, and I jumped on that. It got over 20,000 views, got me monetized. And then shortly thereafter, about a week or two after that, we started hearing about the R5S. It actually turned out to be the R5 or the RS. I can't remember, but it turned out to be the R5. I jumped on that. And while initially this channel was to be more about tutorials, about reviews, I looked at the data, and it really showed that anytime I talked about the R5, anytime I talked about a new camera, the views shot up. They took off. So I pivoted and started focusing on news and rumors, and the big benefit to me on doing that is a review of any camera can take a minimum of 20 hours and usually takes somewhere closer to 40 hours. A news and rumor video, well, that usually takes, I can do it as quickly as 30 minutes, but most of them take between 1 to 2 hours. Because there's usually a few new nuggets of information in that news story, and everything else is up here that I can bring out, I can talk about in a video. Well, I do some jump cuts as you're seeing in this video here, and I'll throw up some B-roll. You can tell that I'm talking all the way through, and I'm not using a teleprompter. It's all coming out of my head from my experience, from my knowledge. So I've really enjoyed that whole experience. And if you're not aware, in 2022, I incorporated this federally as a business. It is a real business. I have to hire lawyers. I have to hire accountants at year end to manage certain aspects of the business. And that's huge. I'm ecstatic. Thankful to you, because it's not just my efforts. If I wasn't able to connect with you, there would be none of that. 5 years. Thank you. Thank you so much for sticking around. Thank you so much for watching to the end of this video. And one thing I want to promise to you is I have no intention of using any Squarespace or any other segments. I keep daily, I get at least one request for putting in a 60-second, 30-second, or even a 90-second spot in the first half or first third of a video. And I'm not going to do it. And the reason why? Well, you'll notice down below that I have smart pre-order links or I have affiliate links. So for example, the upcoming Canon RF 24mm, the 50mm, and the 70 to 200mm power zoom. If you purchase those using my pre-order links, or if you use my affiliate links for another 20 or 30 other cameras I have listed below that are on sale, we've got so many on sale right now for Nikon and Canon, I can get anywhere from 2 to 5% back, which really is what keeps the lights on. It keeps this channel going. It keeps me motivated. It keeps me excited because I see there's a huge demand, and I don't have to go ahead and put in some 1-minute segment at the beginning. I find that really frustrating. I actually pay YouTube whatever it is a month so I don't have to watch ads, and then you're having to see these ads. It's frustrating. I understand why some do it, because they don't have the ability to use affiliate links or pre-order links. I do. So instead of being greedy and trying to do everything, I don't think that's right. As part of being transparent and what I'm trying to do, I save all those pre-order links and talk about the affiliate links right to the very end of the video, not up front. You can get what you want. You can even leave within the first third of the video, and that's fine, and not even stick around for my deals of the week, pre-order links, and all that sort of stuff. But for those of you that do, it's very much appreciated. Thank you so much. You're supporting a business. And the best part of it is nothing comes out of your own pocket. You're buying stuff that you would normally buy yourself. And by nature of the structure of the affiliate links and pre-order links, I get a small commission back from the retailer. It's the best of both worlds. Thank you so much for watching. Have yourself a great weekend. Have a happy and safe Halloween. That's coming up in, I guess it's Thursday this week, isn't it? The day after, no? Yes, the day after Canon's event. I'm starting to lose it. It's early in the morning Saturday. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have yourself a great weekend, a great Halloween, and we'll see you again soon.